Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Mahabharata144. As you may remember, Dushasana was trying to disrobe Draupadi, but the cloth kept growing. By the side of Dushasana, whose anger was mounting, could be seen a heap of cloth which was growing in size every moment. All the colors of the rainbow gleamed from that heap of cloth. Dushasana got tired. He could no longer continue this disrobing of the woman. She seemed a witch, or else how could this happen? At last, exhausted, he gave up the attempt and sat down with chagrin written on his face. The voice of Bhima broke the spell which had descended on the audience. He wrung his strong hands together and said, "Listen to me, all you Kshatriyas. If I do not kill this sinner, Dushasana, and drink his blood, let me never see the heavens where my forefathers are. Let me go to the hell that is meant for the worst sinners. I will tear his heart out and drink his blood, I swear it." Dushasana laughed at him. They all laughed at him. Radeya said, "Why are you silent, Dushasana? Take her to the servants' quarters. Let her get acquainted with her new duties." Poor Draupadi was wailing, "I am not a slave." She appealed to each and every one of the elders, but there was no one to help her. All of them were silent. Everyone was afraid of Duryodhana, all but Vidura. Again and again he said that the words of Vikarna were right, and that she was no slave of Duryodhana. But no one paid any attention to him. Duryodhana smiled at Draupadi and said, "Stop repeating your question. Stop repeating you're not a slave. We've heard it often enough. We will leave that aside for a moment. Your 5 husbands, Nakula, Sahadeva, Arjuna, Bhima, and Yudhishthira, the image of Dharma, are all here. They have not so far made any attempt to answer your question. They have not tried to release you from slavery. They stood silent even when your honor was at stake. I'm waiting for Yudhishthira to speak. Let him say whether you belong to me or to him. We will decide your future after that." He waited with a taunting smile on his lips. The bowed head of Yudhishthira was still bowed. He did not speak a word. Duryodhana laughed and said, "Draupadi, your lords are all silent. I will answer your question. You're free. These 5 men are not your husbands anymore. You're free. Free to choose a man among us. You're not born to be a slave. You're meant to be the wife of a ruling monarch. Give up these men who are no longer the favorites of fortune. Choose one of us for your master. Let your husband Yudhishthira announce to the court that he has no right of you anymore. You can then choose a husband for yourself." The words of Duryodhana were like terrible darts. Bhima could not bear them. He said, "I would have killed all of you long ago if it had not been for the fact that I respect my brother. When he announced that we were slaves of this man, I accepted his words. To us, Yudhishthira is more than a god. We belong to him, heart and soul, and we accept his words. If it had not been for Yudhishthira, we would never have allowed this outrage to take place. When our brother considers himself won by you, we think that we have been won too, in a game of dice. If it had not been for this, do you think that this sinner could have lived, this Dushasana, this man who had the audacity to touch the hair of our queen and drag her to your court? Do you think he would have lived after that? Look at these arms of mine. Look at their strength. Look at their length. No one, not even Indra, can withstand a hug from these arms. My hands are tied down by the shackles of Dharma, by my respect for my brother, by the restraint placed on me by Arjuna. But for Yudhishthira, I would have crushed the lives out of your bodies." Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.